Hello and welcome to Dr. Viola Voilà Voices, a podcast and YouTube series produced at ICAM here in Ipswich. Today, I'm joined by special guest Jenny from High Street Dance Studios right across the way. Let's welcome Jenny.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I always like to start with either any pertinent details, titles that you like people to call you.
I'm leaning into owner.
Yes, owner. Yes, we love strong female-owned businesses. And
so owner-director of High Street Studios, but also dance teacher.
And do all your kids that, I know you do a lot of children's programming, do they all call you Jenny as well?
Yes.
They do?
Sometimes Miss Jenny.
Miss Jenny. The same at my work. I say Dr. Casey. I love it. But Casey's good too.
I live in the community. I'm also raising my family in the community. So obviously a little bit of the Miss Jenny follows me everywhere I go, but I'm really lucky to also be living in Ipswich.
Yes, I appreciate having you here today. And I always like to start about, before we get into your current work here in Ipswich, like your background.
So I didn't grow up in the area. I've been here for almost 20 years now.
Wow.
But I grew up in coastal Connecticut. Reminds me very much of the beauty of Ipswich. Yes. Water, marshes,
like New
river.
London, New Haven?
Old Lyme.
Old Lyme. See, I got my doctorate from University of Hartford.
Okay.
And we would go down to Rocky Neck.
Of course. Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So that's where, so it's gorgeous.
It is.
Right at the mouth of the Connecticut River. But I was brought to Massachusetts, to Boston for college. So I studied at Emerson. And then it was through a connection at Emerson that I was brought to the North Shore. And that was about 20 years ago. And it just sort of organically, truly happened. And I started with just one little student, was coming up performing with Ipswich Moving Company, and then the
Are they still around?
Yes,
okay,
but
I feel like I've heard of
not doing as much as they used to. But a professor of mine, Janet Kraft, sort of presented me with the opportunity of starting to teach classes while I was coming up and working for the company. And we just started with one student, and it just sort of snowballed from there, and then had the opportunity to expand to High Street Studios about 5 years ago.
Yes, and maybe can you talk about that transition? Because I had a similar transition where it was like, you go to school, you're told, perhaps like I was, to go for the symphony or the company job as like the dancer. But then you realize, oh, I need to make money.
So yeah, I was really fortunate out of college to have the opportunity to perform and also work at the dance complex in Central Square in Cambridge, and did a bunch of side hustles. And then really quickly realized how much I really did enjoy teaching. And then was able to sort of find this like trifecta of performing, teaching, and then sort of building a business. And I found keeping those three aligned, I didn't burn out in any single area. And I do feel that if I had only stayed in the performing realm, I'm not sure how many years I would have lasted, or if I'd only been teaching out of the gates. I think I needed that outlet of still performing to influence my teaching. And then, just last year I completed a professional development course that filled in major gaps of knowledge that I still needed as a business owner. So I lean into lifelong learning.
What class was that? I want to take it.
It's a wonderful course. I'll sing its praises. It's called Studio Evolution. It's actually based in Australia. It's
completely online. I love that.
Completely online, and it was a two-year course that really allowed me to fill in those gaps of knowledge. I didn't know at 21 I would be, running a business and having to still figure out all the different facets that go into that. So I loved it. I loved going back.
How long does it take to take the course?
2 years.
2-year course.
It was an investment.
Okay, yes.
But
are there scholarships available?
I'm sure. But it felt amazing in my mid-40s to be able to go back and be a student, and not only a student, but a student with such a specific focus, surrounded by other studio owners, not just dance, and have this peer advisory group that is so invested in your business. I mean, it felt like a luxury. So that has helped me be able to step into this next 20 years of teaching, but also in business ownership, just feel like I'm on much more solid ground.
Yes.
Makes that transition feel a lot less risky.
By taking the course.
Yes.
Yes, because I'm sure they connected you to the community. And while I was listening to your story, I love how you were so good at summarizing basically 20 years of your life, right? From Emerson College as a dancer primarily, to being connected to a mentor who gave you an opportunity up here.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just putting the pieces together. And then, did you have your family already when you moved up here?
No, not yet. So, but it all sort of circles back, and people in my life love these Miss Jenny connections. But it was a family that I was teaching that had an apartment, and next thing you know, we're moving up from Boston to live in their apartment, and then we realized how much we loved Ipswich. Yes. And it was like, 2 years later, we're buying a house, a very Ipswich story, first period 1720s home. And
wow. Ours was made in the 80s, so
well,
not same for us.
fixed it up. And we're at, we just purchased another home that we're renovating again. So we like renovation projects, just like building out High Street Studios. It was just this big empty warehouse that we sort of envisioned how two studios could work with that dividing wall, so it could be a multi-use space for performances, events, celebrations, but also drop that dividing wall, and from 3:30 to 8 p.m. most afternoons and evenings we can run simultaneous classes for youth, teens, adults. And our space where we built the program at Ipswich Moving Company was a beautiful renovated barn, but it had limitations of just one space.
So do you have a partner, or how did you transition from Ipswich Moving
to... Yeah, so
to...
we transitioned. At that time, we realized that it would be best for it to be apart. So,
and who's we, your mentor?
Janet Kraft and I. So Ipswich Moving Company remained where it has always been.
Is she
in
still
the
with
barn?
it?
Yes.
Okay.
And then in High Street Studios was birthed, fall of 2020.
So
did crazy
she really
timing.
help you business-wise, like how to start, or you just learned from being with her?
Yeah, I learned, and then aligned myself with a wonderful business group, female-founded, and just looked for other professional development courses to sort of fill in those gaps of knowledge. And just gutsy, just sort of went for it.
Yes.
Jumped all in.
Well, I've been talking to so many business owners lately because I'm a new member of the Creative Collective.
Yes, of course.
Are you a member of that by chance? You are.
I sure hope I still am.
Yes,
I was at one point. I love Cynthia.
I think you have to renew, but I'm sure they would let you
yes.
renew whenever you want. And most of the people that I've been meeting, it is welcome to any artist and business owner, but it's primarily people like you who started out and created something special of their own. And if you could talk to that, I know you said you were inspired and grew to love teaching, and I really relate to that, especially the part where you talked about burnout. And I don't know, you're just so inspiring, and I knew you would be. That's why I've wanted you on my show for so many years now already, is because I see a lot of myself in you in terms of your trajectory, where started out as a student, went to college, were told to do all the things, took every opportunity, and it led me to a full-time job in Boston. But now I'm at this unique place, crossroads, where you were, where I'm starting to realize, oh, maybe I just need to start a business. So what ultimately led you to take that leap and be like, this is what I'm doing?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I think I was working at the dance complex and doing 100 different things, and had an opportunity to teach at some after-school programs and some other studios while starting, classes up here in Ipswich while I'd be coming and working with the Modern Dance Company. And I thought, by working at this other studio that's been in business for 30 years, I'm just going to be a sponge and open to soaking in all of this great information and growth and all of this. And I very, very quickly realized how unaligned I was with their core values. And it just got me really thinking right away, oh wow, what's really being reinforced as I hold up my end of this teaching contract is how committed to what I'm building in Ipswich is. And it's inclusive dance.
Yes.
And I didn't have a mission statement. I just was doing what felt good to me as an educator and building the curriculum as I went. And then I realized, oh, this is something that does feel like a unique voice in this more traditional dance studio world. And I didn't even realize how off the beaten path we were until I was sort of put in as an educator in something that felt traditional, out of date, and really misaligned with what I wanted to create. So I kept sort of that refrain in my head of, as I continue to grow my program, I'm really going to lean into this curriculum development that we feel so proud of, that we now have at High Street, and that core value and mission that movement is for anyone. There is no expiration date. There is no, it's too late to start. And that was my moment of, oh, okay, so I need to this really is my calling. And I have one memory of teaching a creative movement class many years ago now. And we always say that it's a transition. We often have parents and caregivers in the room with us, and then after moving with their child, maybe on week 2 or 3, they'll be sitting and watching, and then eventually getting outside the door, providing those.
Because I'm sure they want to go grab coffee and get a little break.
Exactly, and we want that for them, but it's a process. And I remember a parent reflecting back to me, and she was emotional as she was talking to me, and she said, Jenny, it's so rare to get to sit and see someone doing what they were put on this earth to do, and that is what I just watched for 45 minutes. And I was like, my gosh, I mean, it's happening. So I think, I think just knowing in not getting the support and feedback I thought I would in that early teaching experience, working on another studio, just helped me with that conviction of it's going to take time, but it's okay. And just, keep at it and keep connected to that mission.
Yes. Well, you answered a lot of my questions as I was thinking. You're so good about doing your train of thought, because I wanted to talk about your mission and like what really inspired you to do it. And you just answered that, which is great. So then in terms of continued work in the community for your business, what are you most passionate about, and what are you excited about for the future?
So one of the things that has been the most rewarding is we've always done a tremendous amount of outreach teaching, and a lot of that came from me sort of following my son as he sort of started going through the Ipswich public school systems and just working those connections and saying I can come in and do movement in the classroom, movement in a hallway, movement in the gym, movement on this playground equipment, and just sort of helping people open up their mindset about how movement can work anywhere. We don't need a big empty 4,000 square feet like we have across the parking lot, which we love, but we can do it in a hallway or in the classroom and do a chair dance. We don't even need to move the desks. So that outreach teaching has been so satisfying to break down some of those preconceived notions about what dance education is. And we call them mini movement breaks. So there is this visceral, sad, negative connotation for a lot of people when you use the word dance. And it's like, don't make me do that. It's like, oh, what happened to you when?
Yes, who told you were an awkward mover?
Exactly. So I feel like one outreach class at a time, one shepherding a new family into High Street at a time, and for our adult classes too, we're healing that. And I'm sure it resonates with voice, it resonates with instruments as well, that at some point something was said and it's deep, you know, and so with movement, that is our overarching mission. I mean, my elevator pitch is, you know, celebrating community, curating confidence, and inspiring creativity. That's like my mantra during burnout, during those, you know, hectic times. It's like curriculum had to go out the window. This was a day where we just really leaned into celebrating our community. Or this is a day that this class was feeling, you know, really insecure and unsure of themselves. So we really leaned into, you know, helping them find that confidence in themselves as movers. So I still get really excited about that. I mean, it is an honor if we have the chance to be someone's first movement experience, because we can imprint that positivity right away. But it's equally important to me and our entire staff to help people sort of heal that movement trauma and help them find their way back to a movement practice. So
specific words you might use in a classroom setting, because you've already described, of course, I love your language because it's very Suzuki, where it's all inclusive.
Yes.
Any age, any ability level, any background that you might have, someone who is differently abled, like they're all included in your classrooms. So when someone is verbally telling you like, I cannot, or I do not want to because of those negative trauma experiences, what would you say if there's someone at home watching this, wanting to take your class? What's like a first step?
First step, often I get a phone call or an email, and they really want us to tell them exactly what level the class is, because they're very nervous about being the only beginner in the room. So our first encouragement that we give is we ask them to trust us as the experts, and that we curate a classroom experience that's inclusive to beginners, to working professionals. And a lot of people don't believe it. They're like, no, I can't. And we ask them to come and try, and we often say to them, come try your first class for free.
Oh, really? I love that. And honestly,
And
I
it's
was
like,
looking at
just
your
get in
pricing.
the door.
It's quite affordable. So it's like...
We try. We do our market research to try to
Yes.
keep it as tight as possible. But yeah, for a lot of our adult movers in particular, we can offer that as trust us, come try. For our younger students, our youth and teens, we have a 100% delight guarantee. So it's like, if at any time, we usually say, you know, you've got to give it 3 or 4 classes, but if at any time after that, your child is, the conversation on the car ride home is just not working for them, we just hit pause.
Yeah.
But
and what age group did you say? Because you said parents are active in the beginning.
So Time to Dance, so that's our youngest programming.
How old?
18 months to age 3. And a parent or caregiver is in the classroom embodying the movement with their kiddos. And then, 3 to 18 for all the other programming, creative movement, ballet, modern, hip hop, aerial bungee, musical theater, jazz. And then for our adults, 18 plus, we've got, you know, my mom takes adult ballet every week. I don't think she'd mind if I said she's 72.
Yes, I love that. That's inspiring, though.
Hadn't been in a dance classroom since she was 8 years old. And takes adult ballet every Tuesday night and loves it.
What are the general class sizes from the children all the way up?
So we like to keep our youth programming pretty intimate. So our youngest programming, there usually isn't more than 8 to 10 kiddos. And then for our later elementary, middle school, high school, 12 to 14. And then for our adult classes, I mean, in the summer on a Tuesday night, I mean, all of Ipswich is showing up for adult ballet. There's sometimes we have 18 movers. Like, are we in the city right now?
Yes.
And then there's times where there's 4 people. Last night I did dance cardio and there were just 4 of us. So
Is the summer more flexible? Because I know a lot of schools are.
I mean, the summer for our year-round, our adult program is drop-in. So you can, some people buy a 10-class card because they find that really motivating.
Yeah.
But it's,
And is it cheaper to like
it's
bundle?
cheaper,
Yes.
yeah, it's cheaper. But our adult class or adult classes,
Are drop-in.
that's always drop-in. And then for the youth programming in the summer, it's week-long
Yes, sessions.
intensive
We do the
sessions.
same at my music school. Yes, similar.
It's just, it's the best.
Yes.
It gives us a time to really dive in with a group of kids. And then otherwise it's September through early June, pretty much following the academic calendar.
Yes, yeah. And I know a lot of schools do that. So you, as a business, you're not a nonprofit, correct?
No, we're
okay,
not.
Yeah, it's like many business owners, like obviously you need to sustain for the
Yeah.
long term, and we hope you're here in the community the long
Same.
term. So how have you been finding, you were talking about connections, and you're such a great talker and so inspiring to listen to. One, where did you get this knowledge from? Is it from your courses that you've taken or your upbringing?
I mean, a little bit of both. I mean, I think I've always, I think one of my strengths is I am a connector. I just love doing that and always have. I can see those layers, those patterns. I can see people's energy and sort of what is going to work well together. And I, from a business side, can sort of craft those experiences and sort of see who would make the best instructor for a certain group of kids. We have this phrase of an evergreen schedule and just really zooming out from the parent lens and seeing what that evergreen schedule would work so beautifully of, yes, a lot of our students are from Ipswich, but making sure that families from other communities can get here for class after school and what days with sports and all that other stuff. So we put a lot of thought into that to try to layer the classes so that siblings can take back-to-back classes or friends can take 2 classes in a row. We have an open door policy after school so kids can come and do homework. Middle school and high school kids can walk right across the street if
Yes,
you're
so
within the
convenient.
Ipswich community. But we have a great space for them to be able to do that, a safe place to hang out. Helps out our working parents, gives them that extra time. They know they're somewhere safe. Then they can take a dance class, do a little more homework, and then get picked up. So I think that's twofold. Myself of just having that ability to see and organize on that level, but also as a parent what I would want. And I grew up in a community in Connecticut that had a wonderful community center specifically for youth and teens called the Lymes Youth Service Bureau. And I do feel in our community the Y catches a little bit of that, and then some other independent businesses do as well. But I always have those experiences in mind as we sort of grow at High Street, especially our middle school and high school students, that they have a safe place that they can also land to do homework and do some other stuff. And
I mean, it makes sense. It's literally across the street.
Right.
Do you have any sort of mentorship program? Because I know I've seen a movement, I think, in small businesses, not saying yours is necessarily small, but in terms of like inspiring the next generation of dancers and like offering something mentorship wise, like, hey, we could teach you the skills on how to become an instructor by pairing you with one of our fabulous teachers.
so we we have an assistance program.
I thought you did.
So
yeah.
yeah, and that, I mean, if you asked our alumni that come back, many of them speak about that. It's really a profound experience for a preteen, most age 13 and older, that have the opportunity to assist a class. And it's incredibly valuable to us from a classroom management standpoint, and just to be able to start passing on that knowledge of teaching dance and teaching movement. And we also had our graduating senior this year, Catherine Marsala, did the bridge program. So Ipswich has this wonderful bridge program that the last semester of your senior year, you can approach a business and do an internship. So that was incredibly rewarding. So yeah, the assistance program, anyone can apply for. We try to give as many opportunities as possible. And it's a commitment. It's the full 36 academic calendar.
But that's how you really learn.
It's how you really learn, and you see how a class bonds, and you really, by being with them that whole time.
And how to program curriculum. Yeah. In terms of music, just because as a musician, I'm always curious to talk about dancing instructors, because I've been to a few dance studios throughout my life, just as someone who's seen it as such a fabulous art form. How do you curate the music depending on a particular course? Is it instructor specific, meaning like I love this music, or like you said, you pair it with the tradition of your upbringing that you had in dance?
A little bit of both. So we have live accompaniment with a fabulous pianist, Elaine Hamill. We've worked together for years. Another Miss Jenny story, I taught her daughter. Elaine had accompanied the Ipswich Public Schools, their choruses for years as an accompanist, and then was retiring, but not really ready to retire at all as her daughters graduated, so I snagged her, and she's phenomenal. So having that live accompaniment, you know, I mean, it teaches musicality like no other. So we love that for the majority of our ballet classes. Otherwise, we are a really supportive staff in that we share playlists, we share this worked really well. We try to have a really wide range of music that is played. We do have a couple of caveats, and these are my own. We try to steer away from doing too much Disney. It's just so done in so many other aspects of young people's lives that and it often pulls such a strong specific connotation that it's like, no, we want something that can allow them to find their way into the music without dictating such a specific narration to them. And we do a lot of instrumental, a lot of drumming for a lot of our modern and creative movement. But really, I mean, so much of our music inspiration comes from what the staff and teachers bring and what we share in the playlists that we share. But yeah, it's sort of a rotating dialogue, especially when it comes to working on longer pieces of choreography. And if someone is feeling sort of creatively tapped, you know, we all have our own little tricks to sort of find that muse again. And a lot of times as movers, getting a music impulse from someone is really helpful.
Because just based off of seeing your social media and meeting you and interacting with High Street over this last year, I've noticed that you both affirm and confirm the people that are in your staff, but also the community. So you're looking at the events that are happening, the families that are here, serving truly everyone. So throughout the year, if you could give me like a highlight reel, what are the events that you look forward to throughout the year or that you've noticed your families?
So let's jump into the one that's happening next.
Yes. Yeah.
So the one that this is now becoming an annual event.
Okay,
so
how many years has it happened?
This is the second time.
Okay, I mean,
so
it's true.
Becoming an annual event. So
Yeah.
this is our Queer Joy Fest, imagined by my wonderful colleague, Angie Benitez. So it was in the spring during Pride Month. And there's so much happening
There's
during
too many
Pride
events
Month.
now.
So
too many. Yes.
Thank you for affirming that
Yes.
we're pushing it to September because it's a Queer Joy Festival that Angie imagined, and we're putting it in September because we really feel that works well for our community. And a lot of people, June, anyone who's attached to the academic calendar, it is a nightmare. There's so much going on. So September, it's opening week of High Street Studios. Classes start on September 8th. So it's opening weekend. The weather will be beautiful. We'll be able to utilize our beautiful community parking lot with Salt, Little Wolf, ICAM. There'll be events on September 12th and 13th. There'll be community sound healing, family bungee.
I've applied to do something.
Yes, good. Performance.
Yes.
There'll be vendors out actually setting up in the Salt Studio space. And if you want any more information about that specific event that's happening September 12th and 13th, it's all on our website on the events page.
And what's the website? Diane can link to it. Yeah.
High Street Studios. So that we're trying in September, thinking this is going to be its new time
Annual.
and place. Then our next monthly, we offer family dance pop-ups, which is really come one, come all, and have a movement experience on a Saturday afternoon.
That means every month?
Every month.
Is it always the first Thursday or first
Oh,
Saturday?
we wish we could be that
Yeah.
organized,
I
but
always
it
love
is
when
not.
you can say that. Yeah.
I know, it is not, but those are on the website as well. And then we have a wonderful tradition of having our youth dance ensemble always perform at the Crane Estate as part of their holiday
I've seen it.
open house.
It was so good. I went last year. It was so beautiful.
There's site specific. There's dancers that are, tucked in the ballroom, tucked in the dining room, tucked in the gallery. So that always happens in December. And then ticking along our calendar year, then in January, the Youth Dance Ensemble does an event that is just student choreography. It's called Stripped Away. And then in March, they have their annual performance. Then in May, we have...
I was going to say, are you going to do the dance protest again?
Yeah, so
that was in March.
We're sure hoping. I'm sure I will get that date from the organizers soon. But I mean, that's definitely becoming an annual thing. And then often in May, we have our big street dance dance battles called the Switch Jam. Our hip hop community shows up, and the broader hip hop community from New England, and that is usually happening in May. And then we have our end of the year celebration in June.
Do you do junior and senior recitals throughout the year too?
We do.
Yeah.
Mainly our big one for the full school is always in June. And then we have some other performance opportunities sort of throughout the year. And it really, we have an adult community performance happening Friday, August 15th, to sort of highlight our adult community. And we have our adult hip hop, ballet, modern, and aerial bungee classes, each doing a performance. So, ages 18 to 72 are going to be right across the parking lot doing. We can transform our space into a small 50-person black box
Or you can
theater.
open the garage.
Or exactly, we can have endless people.
I love that. That's so inspiring to hear how you've grown the business. How many years has it been here now?
5.
5 years. That's what I thought. Yes.
2020 is seared in all of our memories for a variety of reasons, but a good one is the opening of High Street Studios.
I like that. So maybe going into this next year, you just created your highlight reel of events that happen every year. What keeps you motivated and going, just personally, as a business owner, a dancer, a mother, like you said, juggling it all? How do you do it, and what keeps you going?
Okay, do I have a secret?
Yes, do you?
A secret to my success?
Yes.
I think for me, what still holds true now in my mid-40s that I've sort of started discovering in my early 30s is keeping that balance of not only being the business owner and sitting at my laptop and doing all the behind the scenes stuff, or, back in the day, teaching 24 classes a week, or, performing a dozen times throughout the year. Now I've been able to just be a little more selective, which I guess is a sense of freedom when you get to choose. So I still am on the schedule myself, teaching around 10 classes a week, which feels just like the right balance to balance with doing all the business stuff of keeping High Street Studio strong and thriving. And at this age, just performing for pleasure and just picking certain opportunities. And a goal of mine for this next season, now that I graduated from my class, is another big artistic endeavor for myself. Really.
Have you been brainstorming? What
I've
is
been
it?
brainstorming.
Yeah.
I've been brainstorming. My last one was about 2 years ago, and it was our first full evening length aerial bungee performance. And I did it with 2 other wonderful collaborators and colleagues, Jesse and Tabitha, and it was ambitious and wonderful, and we didn't know if we could do bungee for 45 minutes, and we somehow managed to. Yes. So I'm playing with some ideas, but half of it is just picking that date and getting motivated and just getting going. So I'm committed to picking a date in winter of 2026 and getting something going. So I'm excited about that and finding that time in my schedule again to get in the studio myself and start working on something creatively just for myself as an artist. I love creating choreography every week for the classes I'm doing it. That cycle feels really rejuvenating to me and really fills me up. And I am an avid walker. I'm on the weighted vest
I was going to say
team.
something beyond dance.
You'll see me around town with my weighted vest. I'm a believer out there walking and listening I love the moth. I love storytelling. So I'm often listening to things like that that are, you know, separate from music and other stuff, just listening to storytelling. And yeah, I love being a mom and just enjoying my time with my son Felix and yeah, being silly.
Yes.
And just, yeah, getting to the beach and doing that sort of stuff. But I'm trying to have Fridays off next year, so I'm saying it out loud to you.
Yes.
And whoever will be hearing this
I'm going to
will
be calling you
hold
on Friday.
me accountable and be like, is that Jenny's car parked at
Yes.
High Street on a Friday? But I'm going to try my best to get some Fridays off and get back into the city and do some stuff.
Yes. Well, I can't say it enough. You have been truly, I would say, an inspirational force in this town, specifically when I moved here a little over 2.5 years ago. You were someone not only that was immediately told to me as someone from the community I should meet, but then seeing you, and honestly, it's taken us this long to meet
I
in
know.
person. Well, not because like of what has happened, but because you're just doing so much for the community, and I see it, and I appreciate you, and I know so many people in this community see what you're doing and are inspired like I am, because truly, your energy, your inclusive programming, the fact that you serve truly everyone, all ages, all backgrounds, all cultural diversity, I honestly, I love what you're doing, and I can't wait to really grow more in this town, not just as my own business like professional and talk to you more about that, because honestly, I could pick your brain for hours just about like selfishly, like how, what's the next step, because I'm entering that part of my life where I'm realizing perhaps my traditional Suzuki teaching isn't as fulfilling to me because it's not as affirming in ways that I know I could create something special on my own that would be more.
Yeah.
So I want to talk to you more later, but I know you have so many things going on throughout the year, and I can't wait to find and follow you at the Queer Joy Festival Friday and Saturday in September. Check the website for all the details. And I just love this little square of artistry and open business collaboration, because I think it truly is special what we have going right here between ICAM, High Street, Little Wolf, and now Alice at Salt Studio. It is like a little collective. It needs a name.
I know, I agree.
We need a big sign
Yes.
out on the road that says something about how special this is, because obviously people that are in Ipswich grew up here realize how special it is, but as someone who just moved here a little over 2 years ago, it truly is a magical town because of its, not only because its inhabitants, but because just about how honestly how accepting and how we pair the history and the culture with the new and the old, and I just love this town. And I'm sure you have similar sentiments, like I see myself creating a family here and growing old here, and I just am so excited
It's
for the
home.
future. It is
Yeah.
home. So maybe any last thoughts that you have to share either about yourself or the business, or letting our audience know, like how does...
I mean, I would just encourage anyone. I mean, we often have this sort of like marketing catch line, but there's a lot of meaning behind it for us at High Street, of that we say, get curious. Yes. All are welcome here, and we really mean it. We really, really mean it, because it's never too late to find movement. For so many of us that work there, movement is medicine. It has helped us work through emotions, but also just physical limitations, and it connects you to community. Dance is not meant to be a solo art form. It's meant to be done in community. So if you're dancing in your kitchen, come dance with us at the studio.
Yes, it'll be even more fun.
Yes.
It's amplified.
Yes.
The fun is definitely amplified.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
love that.
So I'm just really grateful for the opportunity. I have a gift for you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yes.
If you
I love
approve of the
shirts.
color.
I love
but
bright
do you?
colors.
Okay.
I love bright
so
colors.
Here's when we polled our customers. This was an exercise. These were all the words that came back, and then we, I don't know.
I
Angie's
just
good
said
at
a
this
lot of
stuff. She figured out the top ones, but yeah, joyful, open, inclusive, fun, fabulous, genuine, encouraging, inviting. So here's your High Street Studio.
Thank you so much.
Culture card shirt.
love
and
it.
And just a little love note from me.
That's so sweet. Jenny, thank you so much for being
Yeah,
here.
I'm so glad. You
And-
know where to find me.
Yes, so sweet. And yeah, I can't wait to join you at all these fabulous
Yeah,
events
well, you're
coming up.
bunging. We already committed you to bungee.
We already did. Yeah,
Yes.
it's on my list. I will
Good.
do. Yes, I'll reach out. Well, thank you for joining me for another episode of Dr. Viola Voilà Voices. Join me next time where I believe it's going to be the last interview before I enter season 2, which is going to be an exciting new rebrand with local trans artist, poet, activist, fabulous performer, Coda Mihalba. And it'll be similar to this kind of format, but we are reaching out and beyond of Ipswich local residents and business owners, because throughout this last year of doing this show, I've really been so inspired and made other fabulous connections that I can't wait for you to meet those guests from all over Greater Boston and beyond. So join me next time.
All right, so Casey and I, this would be if I was showing up at Winthrop Elementary School, right?
Yes.
So we're channeling our
Yes.
child,
Inner child, yes.
inner child, and we're in the classroom, and this would be one of our mini movement breaks. So I would, break out the music, and the first thing we do is we would just start shaking out our hands and wrists.
And we're going for a chair dance today.
Yes, we're doing a chair dance today. And then we would do some little taps just to wake up. And I usually say, let's wake up our beautiful brains.
I love that.
Yeah. And then we're just going to feel a little bit of tapping on our legs. And then we're going to wake up our voice. Ah. And then we're ready to go. So, all right, first thing we're going to do is our hand is going to reach up, down, other one, up, down, 3 claps, 1, 2, 3, hands, and then we're gonna throw. Ready? From the top. Ready? First hand reaches, reach, down, 3 claps, hands together, push. Then the kids' favorite run is we're gonna imagine our hands are sort of like on puppet strings.
Ooh,
so they're
I do
gonna,
this marionette all the time with my kids
of course,
too.
Of course.
I love it.
So then your puppet string draws you up, but then someone's going to cut the strings and you're going to flop.
I love that.
And then we come back up. So from the top, ready, steady, off we go. Reach, down, reach, 3 claps. Push, marionette, slow, cut the puppet strings, flop.
Oh, I love it.
Then from your flop, then we're imagining, our kids love to imagine they're in a video game and they're like sort of climbing up a ladder, like out of a tunnel. So they climb up, they climb out. And then I love that, imagine that when we get to the top of the tunnel, then we open out and we just feel like we're birds. And we just soar. That's where we're gonna end today.
I love
from the
that.
top,
I
I'm
love
making
that.
us do it from the top. Ready, steady, from the top. Reach, clap, push. Here comes your marionette. Puppets, cut the strings, flop. We're in our tunnel, climb. You start to see the clouds. You burst over the clouds and we soar. You can close your eyes if that feels safe. And rest.
Oh, I love that, Jenny. That was amazing. I'm going to steal some of those moves.
And then, that's where movement can happen anywhere. So even, we all know this as artists, but like when you've got that stuck energy, but I always present to the class of kids, like you've got these tools now. Like, you've got ants in your pants, whatever you want to call it, like a little bit of tapping, a little bit of this.
It brings body awareness.
Exactly. And just like move it out. And
what I appreciated while we were going, like, I'm such a technical thinker, obviously in music, like I was doing different hands than you, but I like that you didn't say anything because it's about the experience and doing it together.
And your own interpretation.
Yes. What would you tell a child who's like, but Miss Jenny, like, I can't do it, like, or like my hands don't look like your hands.
Right. I usually just have words of affirmation of like, I love seeing the way you're doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
You
love
took
seeing
the
the way
Suzuki
you're
one.
doing it. Well,
I love it your way. Like, let's try it
exactly,
your way.
Exactly.
I do that all the time.
And empowering them with you reflecting back to them how they did it. Or show me, show me how you did it. Tell me more. How did that feel? And just leaning into all of, how does that feel in your body? Does it feel fun? Does it feel free? And then working on those word associations of like stuck and what does stuck feel or look like, and then getting unstuck. And so it's like, today might be a sticky day. You know what I mean? Like, I'm feeling stuck sometimes
I'm doing the robot
too.
today.
Exactly. Or feeling stuck in my mind, feeling stuck in my heart, So like a lot of those heart openers and stuff.
That's great. So that's more of like a children's like leading activity, but obviously it works great for all ages too. In terms of my selfishness, I'm getting ready to audition for a burlesque inspired show. So I've never done a specific dance audition. Are there any burlesque inspired or specific moves you would recommend me incorporating into my video?
All right, this is not my area of expertise.
Okay,
but
I was curious.
I do know just a little.
Yeah.
So I think, especially what has been shared with me from the burlesque community is it's very much about your character and your development of that. So I'm sure there are some
movements specific to me.
Fundamental skills, but I think a lot of it has to do with like where your eyes are tracking and like where you're taking any of those gestures. And so if there's time, so I think one specific thing that might be fun to play with, especially in front of a mirror if you want.
Yes, I will.
But that idea of, am I holding someone's focus and then letting my gesture go somewhere else, right?
While you're keeping the focus.
Exactly.
Or, I like that.
Which would be that really strong directive. Or just like we were doing with our play before, where you following the focus with your hands, which then most often the eye of the beholder would then be following it with you. Where then if you're finding that direct focus, but then adding on top of it all of
And I'm sure it could be powerful to like do your focus following the limbs, but then do something like straight to the camera.
Exactly.
Because then it pulls focus.
Right.
I love that. That's a really good tip.
You don't need any help. You've got this.
Well, honestly,
You've got this.
I've been a creative child my whole life where like my parents encouraged me to do any and everything. And like I would be that little child at home just dancing all over the place. And my parents would be like, let's get them in a dance class.
Yes.
So I love that you encouraged like people that are just at home dancing or singing on their own, like come do it with the community. Because honestly, amplified voices and collaboration makes the project or the motion or the artistry that much more special in my experience.
And everybody needs more people in their lives.
Yes.
It's like, I know there's this epidemic of loneliness that's happening. And I sympathize because I've had a number of older students come, and one student in particular, I often greet people as I'm, checking them in. It's so good to see you. And one time she said back to me, it's so nice to be seen.
Yes.
And it's like,
I would cry right there on the spot.
Like, yes, it is nice to be seen. Like, and it's nice to be seen as an older human in an older body, feeling that sense of empowerment again.
And I think you could probably talk about this too. I think it's important to tell those people because they see you, they see me, and they see a confident, articulate, put together human, but I think it's important to tell them like, we're not perfect.
Yes.
And like I had moments in my childhood where I thought I would be alone, like I was alone, and telling them like I am getting more uncomfortable with the discomfort of putting myself into new situations because that's how you grow as a human. Like,
Absolutely.
And don't do it alone because they'll become more comfortable with someone else.
Right. Yeah. And meet a new person and hear about where they like to dog walk, or what they're cooking, or what they're reading, or what other movement classes they've taken. So I just love seeing other people from the community meet and these budding friendships that happen out of a shared experience, whether it's 3 classes or 10 years of moving together. So,
or just a movement improv exercise like we just did. Well, thank you again, Jenny, and I can't wait to do more fun movement with you in the future.